So, and then basically used one of the sense doors to explain how the co-arising works, if you will, or dependent origination works, I should say. If you need more verbiage or if you feel like you can run with it in a little bit better direction, I think for me, I feel like it gives a good example, but you're more than welcome to look at it. I posted it in the chat if you guys want to look at it.
Look at it now.
Let me get it for you.
It's not long. Like I said, it's only like 500 words. It's
reader.
Essays are not my strong suit.
The one that I did was I posted before, but then I shortened it and kind of cut out a few and just I was going to do like each dependent origination. Then I thought, no, we're just gonna write something about the teaching, not really explain the whole 12 links.
That's what I started doing, and then I was like, wow, this is going to get really long really fast.
Right.
And then when I got to Nirvana, and I'll post my Nirvana one later, I posted Nirvana. I was like, wow, I finished that up. That's only 260 words. That's
really?
Yeah, because I mean, it's not a whole lot. Because
unexplainable. That's where you start, right?
Yeah.
So how many words for unexplainable?
Well, I mean, Nirvana, he gave our trigger words of, what was it? The two Genesis that were our key words that he wanted us to use. Mm-hmm. And let's see. And by the time I finished breaking down the three, all of them are karma related. Essentially, Hinduism and Jainism, everything is karma, but in Buddhism, not everything is karma. And you have to kind of just break down how you extinguish your karma in Hinduism and Jainism and explain it. I find it really hard to get like super overly complicated with Nirvana.
Well, if you say too much, you're probably going to be wrong, right?
That's my fear. It really is. Like, I'm going to get off the beaten path and I'm just going to be like, okay.
Worldly terms.
Yeah. You got a D because you started off right and then you're like off in something that we haven't taught you yet. So
I haven't done Nirvana, the one that I have on the notes from Fantes. So I guess I'm gonna simplify those notes as well. Mm-hmm.
So with Nirvana, I went with the notes that you provided. Along with the stuff that I had.
Right.
And kind of did a little bit of my own research as well.
Is that when?
Somebody's trying to join and they don't have a question?
No, I was trying to see. I can't see who's making all the noise.
I think when in.
Wendy's been joining and like leaving.
Really?
Yeah.
It's 312-483-8098. I thought that's Wendy's phone.
I don't know.
Name showed up earlier, I thought. So why is it not recognizing her now?
Computer versus the phone.
Oh.
So, let's see. We'll go me.
We're still talking about ethics, I believe. Did anybody Did anybody get a assignment in and receive a response? Because I emailed you remember that, like, for ethics, yeah. I emailed the 4 questions that I answered in, and it's like, I don't know if I got it to the right place. I had the.
I got some feedback saying he received the submission.
I got a little bit of feedback because I apologize because I said, wow, I didn't realize we ran out of time so fast. And I got feedback saying, I appreciate you helping with getting this to an online course. You know, all your hard work's appreciated. And he replied back to me a few days later saying, hey, I went to go grade your exams and one of them was completely blank, which is really weird because I do all of my essays on Google Docs.
Oh.
And then I download them and somehow one of my Google Docs downloaded as blank. So I resent it to him and apologized for it. And I had no idea because it was like a 12K file that was empty. And he didn't seem to care at all. But yeah, he just said, I got your exams. I appreciate, yeah, I can actually bring it up. Cause
Karen didn't hear back either. I didn't hear back. Yeah.
I didn't hear back because I sent really early. I sent
Before
very
March?
Yeah, in March.
March. Yeah, both of us sent ours in
When I
March.
came back from Malaysia, I started doing the homework.
yeah, he just said it's
He was
okay.
trying to pass the assignment up. He didn't say anything. No,
Yeah.
no.
I had a short paragraph or two, and I put it in as a Word attachment, and nothing.
Yeah, the only thing he said is it's okay. You did everything nicely to make this course run smoothly in such a challenging and troublesome situation caused by COVID. I will check your assignments and grade them. And then he replied back. He says, I have downloaded and checked your assignment works, but I have found one under the title of moral responsibility to just be blank. I think you might have emailed me a Word file without anything in it. Please resend it and I will grade it. I do really admire all your hard work. Thanks for your attention. And then I resent the exact same file I sent him, but I just re-downloaded it from Google Docs and it was fine.
Yeah, I checked for, missed delivery message, and I have a copy that I sent to myself, so I know, something will work.
We can ask him on Saturday. I think he sent it all to Kong Yan Sifu. He didn't reply us. He just kind of, gave it to Venerable Kong Yan.
Oh, okay. Might be that way.
I guess he didn't say. Well, Venerable Kong Yan will not tell me also. Because I'm a student. You cannot know anything. This is among the teacher and her.
So maybe after the mock exam, we'll get some feedback, hopefully, collectively.
Well, we can ask him on.
Yeah, we can at least ask him afterwards how we did.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure there's actually a lot of people who did not turn anything in. Because there's been a lot of questions as to like, there was a lot of, there's homework, a lot of confusion as to, crossover as to, like Bhante Upananda was like, oh, don't worry about it, last semester, and turned into.
Give everybody till the end of the semester, huh?
Yeah. So did everybody kind of glance over my dependent origination?
I only got halfway through.
I mean, I really don't care. I feel like it's just kind of a quick explanation. I mean, opinions are welcome.
I read it. It's good. I printed it out.
Essays are definitely not my strong suit. All right. Whoever 31224 or 48308098. I muted you, so if you go to talk, just know that you're muted. You have a lot of background noise.
I think that's Wendy. Because Lisa is not that number. And Lisa do not have children in the house. Okay, how about 5 aggregates?
The 5 aggregates.
You have a comment on 5 aggregates.
Hmm?
I was looking at the handout.
Write in a
Where is that
detailed
handout?
description of each. So we write down each and every one of the 5 aggregates. So every one, we just write an explanation. The
Mhm.
first aggregate of matter, and then
5
just
aggregates. Is this a question? Where is this gonna? Is this gonna be under ethics, or is this gonna be under
this will be the history. I mean, fundamental.
fundamental teachings? Okay.
And then Pandit just asked us to read what the Buddha taught by Venerable Rahula.
Rahula. Mhm.
And then on this book, the 5 aggregate was explained very nicely, like, each one.
Okay.
So I thought I'm just gonna, use that.
That might be better than the article.
Mm-hmm. Well, he said you write an adequate description of each and every one of the 5 aggregates, right? So, and then in that book, Venerable Rahula explained it clearly, each one of them. First, second, third, fourth, fifth. So I think I'm just gonna, use that, like, reference to that book. Like, when I answer that questions, I will reference to that book.
I won't either. I don't think I have it.
What?
Did he give us a list of questions in class, or did I miss
Sample,
that?
yeah, he sent us sample questions. Did you have the sample?
That wasn't the assignment. What, did you print out the assignment? That's not the assignment in March, was it?
No, during the class, he wrote down sample questions, and the last class, he was explaining on that, right, Corey?
Yeah.
That's why when we had so many notes, we didn't know what the questions would be. That was the last time, right?
The sample questions. On the last day of the class, he was explaining on all those. And I posted, I posted,
it was our very last class.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Excuse me.
Do you mind if I post your notes, Venerable Kungchi?
No problem. Just go ahead. I did some correction. Maybe I'll repost it.
Okay, yeah, just upload them to chat and then
Okay, yeah, I redo a little bit, but still I did not do the number 3 and number 4. Okay, that one probably I'm gonna leave it out.
no, that's fine.
Okay, let me post it.
So I don't know if everybody else is working the same way. I'm just kind of hyper focusing on 4 things that I feel like will be on there, and then I am brushing up on others and kind of praying to whatever testing God there is.
Oh, this is the wrong one. This is ethics. We're looking at fundamentals. For the aggregate would be
fundamental, yes.
Yeah. So here, I'll be right back. I got to go let my dogs in real quick.
So I was.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember exactly what Rahula said, but Sherry had a problem with the description in this article, the SAGE article,
mm-hmm.
on the 5 aggregates, and I looked in the
I did not use that.
On page 2. Don't use that.
Don't use it.
I do not use that. That one he just used it. I used the book on what the Buddha taught.
All right, so you agree? Don't use it.
Yes, that's why I said don't use that.
Yeah, those are just reading. I mean, he just used it, but I'm not gonna use that in the answer questions.
I thought it was interesting. He seems to kind of contradict himself twice
Mhm.
from my understanding of sensory. And he even states it such that it's more than sensory and
Just
in two
forget
other
about that
places, and
one.
yet he calls it sensory. So
The book's more important.
Are you talking about aggregates of sensations?
no, it was why we shouldn't use the article.
So
Sensory
the article is just
Yeah.
you know,
consciousness, probably. Even the way he describes it, it
Consciousness.
sounds like
Yeah,
consciousness as opposed to sensory consciousness.
yeah, don't use that.
Because yeah, I don't know why.
yeah, don't use that.
Even-
Use the book, the What the Buddha Taught. That's a good one.
He's internally inconsistent.
Okay, I posted on the chat now my sample questions document.
Okay, now I found fundamental teachings. Okay.
I have 5 aggregates wrote, well, copy from What the Buddha Taught. And I just said according to Venerable Rahula, but what the Buddha taught, the explanation. I just wrote down the whole thing. And well, I just only explained 1 to 5, and I cut out a few, just kind of make it short.
Yeah.
And number 6, I'm not sure because I'm gonna redo number 6. Number 6 is not very good, that one.
The 3 marks of existence.
Yeah, I'm still trying to read that. And then the second noble truth, I also explain it from the book, from What the Buddha Taught by Venerable Rahula as well, from that book. So I didn't know I do it right, but I was thinking maybe email it to Bante, see whether he think the answer to this question is done correctly or not. After I've done I probably will choose 5 aggregates, dependent origination, second noble truth, and 3 marks of the three marks of existence. I was going to try to do that because we can just explain anicca, dukkha, and anatta, the 3 things.
Well, let me see. I got my page. I think has all the questions. I have how to put it. I have sometimes trouble staying with him when he goes on a tangent, and sometimes I have I get lost coming back to where we are. I have when this is, that's what I had as number 1. Define nirvana. 2.
Well, just
Rebirth.
compare
3.
yours to what she printed out. You don't have to
Do
go
I
over
see it
all
up?
out
Oh,
loud.
you were.
Yes, it's right
Is
there.
it here? Okay.
I'm printing it out.
Yeah, I
should-
have it on there. I have it on
Go over to
marked in yellow. That is all the questions that he
questions
gave.
on yellow.
And so my essay that I posted from my Google Docs is a conglomerate of Venerable Kung Shi's notes and my notes.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I also simplify the notes on number 1 as well. The one that I posted earlier was kind of just mostly from the class notes. So then I redo it a little bit more.
Read about these until
I'm still trying to using the example of the deer analogy.
yeah, I saw that in your notes, and I kind of touched
can all
on
use that because that's what he was teaching in the class.
it. Yeah, but I kind of went a different direction. Like the deer is great, but I feel like putting it in humanistic terms where because I mean, we've all like sat in a car and like to cross the blacktop and been like, that looks like steam or water.
Yeah.
And kind of ran.
Mirage.
We all know what a mirage looks like. And yeah, the animal is great, but
the human is doing it's good to use that as well. Mhm.
Yeah, because the
Because
only reason why I
it-
went with human is because animals,
Mhm.
they don't have control over the instincts. We're looking at this from a humanistic point of view.
Mm,
Yeah.
good.
Hey, Kitty, you want to come up? Come up.
How about Toshita? You have done your sample questions?
I'm honestly quite lost. I'm trying to figure out what in the world you guys are talking about. So
Oh no.
try,
For
trying
the,
desperately trying
the
very desperately
fundamental
to sync up right now.
We've
So
been
apologies.
talking about the fundamentals of Buddhism
Fundam-
class in the last day. He
I
gave us
see.
a list of questions. So they switched
Right.
the fundamentals.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah,
So we're
that's a
talking about
sample.
Bhante Upananda's class right now, right?
Yes.
So, okay.
Yeah, if you go
You guys
into if you go in the chat, Venerable Kung Shi posted the sample questions, and those are all the major subjects that he talked about.
So these are the questions that we're gonna see in the exam, more or less. I guess.
I will put them in air
think in the
quotes,
mock
but yes.
I gotcha.
I don't know.
I feel
Well,
sorry for the trees, but I feel much more satisfied when it's on paper.
So Sayadaw really hasn't come straight out and said, this is what you're potentially going to see. I'm hoping that the essay questions that he had us write will lead us towards that path.
hopefully.
Those
Uh,
just cover the first day or two of class, though, don't they? Or the first.
I know the first class, I was not here, I was in Malaysia, and then he posed that sample questions. I mean, the assignments. I said, wow, so fast.
Yeah, he was ready to go.
On
Like,
the first class, and I was trying to flip all over the notes to look for, and I just answer. And
So
I-
what we have this weekend is a mock exam anyway, right? It's not going to be graded or anything, if I remember right. It's just an,
Right.
Correct.
so I guess we can.
That was my understanding.
I don't want to say it out loud, but I guess we can wing it.
Oh,
and
what?
well,
figure out
Oh,
what
you don't wanna do
exactly we're going to be.
The whole thing. That way you'll get the most out of it.
Well, not in that sense. I mean, we can at least after the mock exam, we can kind of figure out what they're going to be
You get a better
expecting from
idea
us.
what they're looking for.
Yeah, they're going to be expecting from us for the final exam, I suppose.
well, that's my fear is like ADD and essay writing do not really go hand in hand. Sometimes I go off on a tangent. It's really difficult for me to like stay focused on a subject. So I'm really hoping that's part of the appeal to Buddhism to me is like everything is interconnected.
Yeah.
So like I can start off on one teaching and like hit on several others and not feel like I've gotten too far off the beaten path. But when it comes down to like, oh, I need to explain this one subject in an essay, like, so I'm hoping the mock exams will either tell me, yes, I need to focus more on this one particular subject, or I'm doing okay with my scatterbrainness.
So the question right now is on what we're talking about 5 aggregates. Am I right?
Yeah. What'd you say, Sherry, though?
Are they really only supposed to be 500 words?
Roughly. Yeah.
roughly, I remember those last year when Bhante Upananda was saying, write an essay about 500 words. Yeah.
So he's expecting us to write 500 words per question.
About, I don't think that they exactly like, say, oh, you're the right, such a short essay. I don't think so. It's, as long as he said that we write something to the point and we understand what we are writing.
I see. I got you.
And if you write a lot and then you're out of the point, there's no use.
And I did hear him say, like, even if it's short, but it's concise, it's
Right.
fine.
Yeah. Yeah. He said that too. You don't have to write, that much.
Except for the homework, we could just do a list before he canceled the homework. Like he just,
Yeah.
could just put down points.
Like a
and you
bullet
didn't even
point.
have to write.
I told him that, can I write in a point form? He said,
Oh, yeah.
no. But you can, he said, you can hang it up. I mean, you can write you can put on the side note, like, you know, waveform. Frank, did you write anything? You're eating dinner.
Yes, my neighbor cooked and she did curbside delivery.
Wow.
So yeah, quinoa stir fry, it's great. No, I've been managing 2 editors for a genealogical quarterly that needs to go out tomorrow, but it won't.
Mhm.
So it's taking 4 times as long to train 2 people.
I see. Wow.
So it's just a matter of putting out fires right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay. But you're a good writer. You write a lot. So.
Yeah, I'll just wing it.
Mhm.
Well, if you feel comfortable doing that, I envy you.
Yeah, Sherry's gonna punch it out in 45 minutes.
Huh?
Oh, Sherry?
Sherry's worried about the 500 words.
Sherry can write a lot also.
Yeah, Sherry's a writer.
It's no problem.
Oh, Sherry? Meow.
Yeah.
So
You
I
know,
guess
for Eric, the last class, I did not write down any notes. Well, I only transcribed the AM class, and then the PM class is still in the process. And I don't know if in the mock exam, if you give any question on that, I will be lost. I don't
Yeah.
know where to look.
Mhm.
because
note taking went from 100% to 0% has to be moved to online delivery. It has been a disaster as far as note taking is concerned.
Yeah, because I try to take notes, and then, you know, sometimes I couldn't understand what he said. That, you know, when he said the earth, I take a long time to understand he said earth.
Right,
Oh, yeah.
right. If it's not the understanding of the English that he's trying to get to, it's okay. Oh, he switched gears now and he's
Talking about something completely different, right?
Sometimes he used a Pali word
know,
in there, you know, to explain, and suddenly, what is that? You know, a Pali word.
by the time he figured out the last sentence, he's 3 sentences. He's 3 sentences.
And then
So
when you're trying to figure out, and he already talked a lot, and so
Yeah.
I'm lost. So anyway, I transcribe, and I have to keep listen back to the word to write it out, and take a long time. You know?
Yeah. Those are my notes. from-
Lots of question marks.
Yeah, no.
Did I miss something here?
I don't know.
You mark down the time and you got to go back and check it.
And I still couldn't understand it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And
Even
for my the first note that I posted in the Slack, I did ask him about he said the 3 happiness in Pali. What are those? And he wrote it to me and explained it, and that's why I put the whole thing on the notes there. Oh, by the way, you know, Lisa, she emailed to Bande Kusala to ask him some of the questions, I mean the notes that I posted, and I think he explained to her, and I haven't let you guys know, I haven't posted. He said to answer the 12th link, the last one, you need to write it out all in Pali, you know, because I did not write it all out. What did I put down?
actually, I think I did hear him say that.
What?
English with the Pali.
The Pali, the last questions, either 8-4 path or 12 links.
Yeah, he wanted them in
Pali.
Pali. I remember that.
I remember that. Yeah.
Okay, so I post all the questions that I posted on Slack, and when you study that, remember the last one, the old age, death, grief, lamentation, pain, unhappiness, despair. You need to write it out in Pali also, because I only write down Jara, Mara, Na, and then I thought, you know, but he said have to write it all out. Okay.
Is that part of the open book
in case
one?
you choose these questions, Probably I'm not. I'm gonna choose the Eightfold Path.
Probably going the Eightfold Path myself.
So that's just old age and not sickness and death.
It is, it's all those.
Oh, it's,
It's all
oh,
those.
I
You have
mean
to,
the Pali here. The Pali.
the poly is only the two term, not all the rest. Only old age
But it's not-
and death. And so you have to write out grief, lamentation, pain, unhappiness, despair. Let me share it here on the chat. Lisa,
I
send it.
posted in Slack all the answers to the exercises of the green poly book.
Okay, huh?
All the answers to all the exercises in part 1 of the poly book.
Oh, you
Where?
got the Cliff Notes.
Um,
We were talking about online where the,
yeah, you guys found them as well, but I went through and I imported them into a program, and then I did a find and replace for all the weird characters that weren't right. So it is now right.
Okay. So that's on Slack.
It's on Slack.
thank you, Corey.
Thank
No
you.
problem.
So how do you even attack this?
Okay, I
Well,
posted on chat here the 12th link, the last one.
Soka Paradeva Dukkha Domanasa.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And then Pante told her, okay, this
Right
is,
best in the I'll let you
I'm gonna,
I'm just gonna say this.
save it.
yeah, save it to your chat.
Yeah.
And then I'll save it at
Sounds
the
good.
end.
This is the
I forget about all my.
Paticca Samutpadaya, right? This is the
It's very
dependent origination. Isn't this part of this is the last dependent origination part, right?
I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Okay, now the Pante told Lisa, any answer pertaining to the frame of the questions should suffice. The frame of the questions, that is the one that he gave us on the final exam, remember?
Yeah.
Right, he said those should be on there. With or without Pali, see below, mark.
That's for ethics, correct?
This is for Pali.
All right, poly. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Identifying the 4 noble truths, you got 5 marks. Each one of the 3 rounds is 5 marks. So times 4 plus 5 is 25.
So we can focus on the mock exam tonight, and then I'm going to email Bante Kusala
Yes.
and see if he can join us next
the
Thursday.
time. Yeah.
Uh,
Because he told Venerable Kongyan anytime we want to ask him to,
yeah,
help
I'll.
us study.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
yeah, that's fine. Well, I'll start a draft of Kusala. So that would be June 11th. All right. So I have a email started. I will follow up after we're done. All right. Has everybody kind of glossed through my essay-ish on dependent origination and any notes that they have? Is there anything that you guys feel would be needed on that, or?
I didn't see anything significant,
So
just some minor semantic things, but I'm sure it's.
yeah, I mean, essays are not my strong suit. I'm not opposed. I'm not going to argue with you that there's semantic stuff on there. So
Yeah, but you got the material there. I don't have any problem with that.
all right, so let's move on to
Right? He's
Nirvana.
got it. I think it's probably gonna. Sherry's still looking.
I'm gonna look at it again. I didn't know I
Look
needed
at it
to.
one more time.
No, that's fine.
That seems good. I mean, it's hard to know, exactly what they want everybody to say.
hard to know what they want everybody to say. I don't think they can hear you. Can you hear her when she's doing that?
Yeah.
You don't. We hear her.
Oh, she was kind of off to the side and everything, and she's pretty quiet anyway.
No, we are thinking.
All right. So here is my Nirvana. And this, I literally just brainstormed last night. Normally what I do on my homeworks and, like my preliminaries is I just kind of brainstorm and then I'll go to sleep and wake up and rewrite it.
Mm.
I have not rewrote this
Sleep
yet.
on it. That can really work. Hell, that's true.
So I like to just put down everything that happens as it happens in my brain, and then I go to sleep, and then I wake up and I rewrite it or reread it, and I'm like, wow, what was I thinking? That sentence doesn't even make sense.
You didn't go to sleep soon enough.
Yeah. So Nirvana, I really find a hard time writing because there is so much on Nirvana that it's just like, where do you stop before it just goes off the rails? And you are no longer in what we covered in class.
I think you start with that it's unexplainable in worldly terms, and that's kind of your apology right up front, that if it doesn't make 500 words, well, that's why.
Yeah.
Right?
So this one's 440-ish words.
You found 439 words.
Yeah, that's why I said 40-ish. I didn't look. 438 is what Google calls it.
Really? I have it here 39.
I mean, I can take out like the apostrophe S's and T's and write those out.
Well, I guess you're doing good. You don't have to be exactly 500.
No.
Yeah.
I think
I
this is.
think that's a
you know,
target. You don't have to hit
in
the
the essay, we're gonna use handwriting, right?
Oh, I don't know if I can do that.
I probably
Take
don't know how to
picture?
spell some.
handwriting.
I need spell check.
I don't know if I can write that fast now. It's like my writing will become scribble at the end.
Oh, so you're saying we have to write it out by hand?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think
I'm good with
we're
it.
gonna do it on
I'm
computer.
sure I'm fast.
We cannot do it on computer. Then people will just have all the answer on there already.
Well, I thought that was the reason for having.
I mean the final exam, the mock exam
Oh, the
we're doing here at home.
Yeah.
It's an open book exam.
Final. Oh, you're talking about the final, not the mock.
I talk about the final.
Okay. Yeah. Well.
We'll probably handwrite.
Yeah,
That's
I
why
guess
it's
so.
the others, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be in
I don't
MABA.
write very good now. I don't know.
Yeah, we were talking, and I said, well, I type pretty slowly. And Sherry says, well, just write it out by hand, take a picture of it, and send it in.
Sure. That'll work.
Okay.
Yeah, the mock exam you can
Mock
write by hand and then take a picture and send to him.
See, I type 96 words a minute. I'd rather type.
Yeah. I actually took a
minutes.
type course too. I didn't. I was not the top of my class.
Yeah, you can write. Just take a picture of it. No problem. Writing help you.
It's the QWERTY. It's all the fault of the QWERTY UYOP keyboard. It's not set up for efficient use of the hands, or the hands' efficient use of it, whichever way you want to say it.
The Dvorak keyboard is far faster.
What's that? Oh,
Dvorak is faster.
you know that one? You use it?
No.
Yes. Did you get started on?
Or not?
Yeah.
Does anybody want me to build them a Dvorak keyboard? I mean, there is a far superior keyboard to Dvorak too. So.
Oh, really? All right. Yeah, you might as well leapfrog right over if you're going to learn a new one. Yeah, like we used to. I don't know if you remember this in school, Corey or anybody else, but the we're going to be all metric. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
By 2000, was it? There was a lot of things that were going to happen by 2000. But we're gonna
Colmac.
be all metric.
Colmac is the other keyboard. I couldn't remember it, but so I build keyboards. That's like one of my really nerdy hobbies that I don't tell many people about. But yeah, I have yet to build a Dorvac or a Colmac keyboard.
So you're just waiting for somebody to ask you, right?
Yeah, pretty much. So just give me $200 and I will give you
Oh,
a Dorvac keyboard.
oh, yeah. Well, you know, I got it saved up.
On second thought, Amazon.
I don't know if you can get a Dorvac keyboard on keyboard.
I'm just joking.
Maybe I just skip it all together and just get a really good voice recognition to do it all for me. Can I do that?
You
Yeah.
can do
Oh,
it
you misspelled that. Hold on. Go back.
My detection, it doesn't, some word, it doesn't know what I'm saying.
All right, I take that back. You can get a Dorvac keyboard on Amazon for $22.
Oh dear.
They got me beat. So
Oh no, you shouldn't have. Hey, you're on. You're not a good salesman there, Corey. I wouldn't have known that.
so yeah, well,
Oh, okay. Sherry would have stopped me.
You're about to hit buy now, right?
Yeah.
Oh, but I would maybe like a laptop for what 150 would be pretty good.
Go to EPC.
75. Do I hear 50? A working one that I could maybe.
Just go to EPC. I took Venerable Kung Shi to EPC and got her a laptop.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, you can get a $50 there. What?
Hey, Charles,
yeah, it's
What-
Cave
where
Springs
about?
and 70.
and they're
I like
they're
it.
open.
Hmm?
They're open.
Yeah, they're doing curbside pickup right now, but if you want me to help you, I have contacts in there because that's where we get all our work stuff from.
Well,
but
can I just say
And
Corey?
Corey just stayed
sent
right
me
by
a-
there.
Can I say
Yeah.
Corey sent me a wink and that would work?
If you talk to Brian, yeah, actually it would.
Okay.
So he hooked Venerable Kung Shi up with a laptop and a monitor, like super
Mhm.
cheap. So
Yeah.
it was like
It's very good.
75.
I like it.
It's a good one. It's working well. Okay,
Very
good.
well so far.
Cross your fingers.
It's good. I like the desktop screen and then my laptop work well.
Fast.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, for what you're not gaming on it, so.
Oh yeah, I'm not. No, I'm not getting. I'm not. Gonna
So like web processing or websites, word processing, things like that. Yeah, it'll be more than ample for the
if it
next
comes with
5
Minecraft,
years.
I might play that.
I think you have to download that on Windows 10 now.
Okay, we have to go back to our study.
All right. So I have provided my stuff on Nirvana and dependent origination. Does anybody have anything to contribute for Punabhava, rebirth in Buddhism, and is way different than reincarnation in Hinduism?
Right.
I have that.
So that's the vertical versus horizontal connection. I think if you follow on that path, I think you'll be fine. So in Hinduism, the idea is always to get back to Brahma. Yes. So everything relates back to getting back to Brahma, reunification with Brahma Sahavyata. If you remember the word, he mentioned that word several times last semester, not this semester. So the idea is always to go back to Brahma. So whatever you do, you're trying to reach back Brahma. In Buddhism, on the other hand, is a completely different story. You whatever you do, you have to pretty much pay it off one way or the other. So if you have things to pay off, you come back to pay that stuff off, rather than you pay your karma to yourself rather than trying to pay it off to a higher cosmic entity.
Yeah, if you read the Nirvana essay I wrote, you can almost reword it just enough to Punabhava, because nirvana is essentially karma based in Jainism, Hinduism, and Buddhism. But so is your rebirth in all three of those. Well, exclude Jainism to an extent, but in Hinduism and Buddhism, your samsara is karmic based. So if you extinguish all of your negative karma in Hinduism, you are born in Brahma and achieve nirvana. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of similarities between the nirvana and rebirth essays, I feel like.
Mm-hmm. I was looking at Lee's notes.
David, I'm about to post something to the chat. There's no way to privately send it to you. So
What?
I was just trying to post something for David.
Oh, here, hang on. There you go. Changed.
Thank you. I just posted it anyway. So David, I'll repost it just for David,
It's
I
okay.
guess.
David. See
It's
that.
nothing confidential. It's just off topic. I didn't wanna digress.
Oh yeah. So my work laptop I got from EPC. It's a Lenovo T640. I think my work paid $200 for it. Great laptop. The only thing that I have to say negative about the Lenovo T series is that they are not high definition graphics.
Right.
You're not getting 1080p, but it's a laptop, so 1080p is not going to matter. But yeah, I will concur with Toshida that yes, look at the Lenovo series laptops. They have great keyboards. I am a
Yes.
keyboard snob. So on the rebirth in Hinduism, or just rebirth in general,
Mm-hmm.
I really hate using wiki in a collegiate environment because it's just there's so many questions as to whether or not it's accurate. But if you just look up samsara Hinduism and just Google that, there is a great wiki on it that breaks it down. There's a lot of stuff that they rephrase, like re-death instead of rebirth, that I think you can kind of just ignore. But they do a good side by side between Hinduism, Jainism, and Buddhism on the wiki.
Rebirth.
See that. Oh, totally miss it.
In my notes, I've got chapters to refer to chapter 7 in what the Buddha taught for the question on rebirth.
Okay. Yeah, let me, I'll be right back. I got to run upstairs. I need to grab that book. It's sitting next to my bed.
Yeah, I was looking at that also on that chapter.
Which chapter, Fran? Chapter 7?
7, yes.
Hula? That's it. Yeah. I think it's on the bed.
Chapter 7. 6. Bhavana, meditation on mental culture.
What about chapter 7?
Did we say chapter 7?
Chapter 7 for for number 3 on rebirth.
There's my paper I've been looking for. Oh my gosh. Oh, see, I even used that. I used that one and it didn't work. I don't know why.
Seven.
Put it up there so you don't lose it again. Come here, kitty.
I had a password tucked in here. That's a bookmark. And I already told him at work that I couldn't get in, and they gotta change it. They won't let me change it by myself.
So you can still continue use it as a bookmark then.
I guess so.
That was me.
Oh, all right. Maybe it's my password to Nirvana. Maybe it's my password to Nirvana. I need it in this book.
Chapter 7, you said?
Yes, page 67. Well, page
Yes.
98 on the eBay. ebook.
No, I got the paper book.
Can we read it?
I don't know why I keep pointing my book to my microphone. Like, hey guys, see this? So
See, we got one.
Maybe we should read it and see what it really
That
says
one.
here.
That
Oh,
one.
this one.
Wrong one? Oh, that one. Oh,
It's the same
It-
one.
it's the same book, just one's older.
I know. It's another edition. Well,
Where did
second.
it talk about rebirth here?
What?
It's at the same time again.
Rand, do you have any directions? Where exactly are we talking about in chapter 7?
Well, Bhavana, we're speaking of Puna Bhavana or Bhava, which is the rebirth in Buddhism. Bhavana is chapter 7. Let's see. Can honestly say I don't think I've read chapter 7.
Yeah.
Lee read it.
Lee read it. Okay, Lee, is he still on with us?
I'll unmute
He's
him.
driving.
Lee, I know you're driving, but let's go ahead and have you read chapter 7.
You know it by heart anyway. You don't have to look off the road.
Oh, he exited. He quit.
You took the egg.
Oh no, he got mad.
Sure, just as soon as we need him.
No, I think he accidentally, he maybe want to unmute himself. He leave instead.
I unmuted him for him.
Unmute people, but he want to unmute. He didn't know. He must have pressed the wrong.
Well, you want to start reading now?
Okay, you read.
Chapter
David, you
7.
read.
Chapter 7 is on Bhavana, right? So I'm trying to figure out.
Who said obikus?
No, it was supposed to be about rebirth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out what the connection is. Rebirth. Dear.
Oh. Let me find my notes.
Oh, he's trying to join again.
Yeah, that's what I think he was trying to answer you. Let me find my notes. I think I wrote something somewhere else.
So we can collectively think about it, right? So what causes rebirth?
Mhm.
What's the root cause of rebirth? Let's start there.
In Buddhism and Hinduism, karma.
Let's look at it from Buddhism perspective. What is ultimately the reason for rebirth? Why would we get reborn?
Because of our attachments.
Very good. Yeah, exactly. Craving.
Craving for
Ultimately, it's craving.
The desire to exist.
Desire for something. I mean, desire to have more wealth next life,
Is it necessarily desire for rebirth, or can it also just be desire for worldly things?
Egoism.
Desire for worldly anything causes rebirth because of our attachment. I mean, once we can cut the attachment, there's no
About-
reason to be reborn, I guess.
Egoism, attachment, and delusion.
Sure. They all describe the same exact thing to me, honestly.
Yeah.
They're all the same thing.
Well, they all have three: Anava, Pasas, and Maya.
Oh, look at you with all the Pali, huh?
Oh no, I'm a Google master, sir. So, Anava, egoism also means animosity or feelings of being small, distinct, and separate from the rest of creation. So on this Hindu website, and that is literally the URL, hinduwebsite.com. All right, Lee.
Hey, I'm back.
Yeah. All right.
We thought you get
I
mad at
ran off the road. I was trying to read and I ran off the road.
Oh,
Oh, no. How's your airbag going off again?
Yeah.
So on the Hinduismwebsite.com, it gives you all these Pali words or Sanskrit words, actually. I don't think these are Pali. And it basically breaks it down to attachments. So as you said, Toshita, is attachments are the cause of reincarnation in Hinduism.
Right. So that's where the distinction is, because in Hinduism, that's the word I was missing. Reincarnation. It's a reincarnation, meaning you
There's a soul
reappear. Yes, soul continue. Well, I want to be careful with this because I don't want to say something that's wrong. Reincarnation is different from rebirth. That's what I'm trying to say.
Reincarnation implies that there's a soul. Rebirth is more karmic energy than soul-based, Atman-based. Does that make sense?
Right.
yeah, and Rahula, it's covered under the second note, page 33.
Becky Patton.
A little bit.
I think we'll have to mute Lee. I think he's having a discussion with someone else.
Yeah, Lee, I am muting you, sir.
I thought I was muted.
You are
dear.
now.
That's the problem, I guess.
Okay, so coming back, reincarnation versus rebirth. Reincarnation. What does incarnation mean? I guess reappear.
So I got into this big discussion with my coworkers because they are huge trolls and want to pick fights all the time.
Oh,
And
live trolls, huh?
yeah, and they wanted to go into a huge argument over there is no difference between reincarnation and rebirth.
Oh, there is. For sure.
There is, and
A little knowledge is a dangerous thing.
it is, and I'm like, no, rebirth is energy based. It's based off of your karmic energy versus reincarnation, where there is a soul attached to it. In rebirth, there is no soul or self to be reborn. It is in reincarnation. There is a continuation of a previous life, and that I have to use that loosely because you can't just say previous life, because that almost implies that there is a remembrance of what you did in a previous life. But so rebirth in Buddhism is more towards the actions of what a person had in the existence before death, which leads to the cycle of the next life. I'm trying to.
Yeah. So within the 500 words, I think we can quickly relate the four versions. What were they called? The karma has 4 different categories. Remember, we had karma based on function, karma based on place, karma.
Yeah, we touched on that last week.
Right. So I think we can relate that here in that discussion, because this comes down to Janaka karma, the reproductive karma. I'm sorry, didn't mean to throw the Pali word. Reproductive karma.
No, so for those who are just joining us this week, we have reproductive karma. Karma with regards to order to take effect. Karma with regards to time of taking effect. And karma with regards to place of taking effect. And that is from pre-Buddhistic history from Bhante Abhinanda's class. So you should have notes on it.
So Buddhist rebirth can be related to that elegantly because the priority order defines when you'll have to pay your karma, I guess. So immediately taking place once Ditti Dhamma Vediniya, or in the next life, or in the following life, or in some life. So there's a relationship over there. The reproductive karma is also related to rebirth because the last thought moment you have defines what your next birth is going to be, where you're going to be born, and in what condition you're going to get born, I believe. So I think those are also related.
I think now that I have a second to think about it, the rebirth is an integration or conglomeration of body and mind in Buddhism and body and soul in Hinduism.
That's a good one. Yeah, mind versus soul I think is the distinction. You're right. So that also relates. So everything is connected to everything. Once you start talking about something, you can take it in any direction, because once you start talking about mind and body, that is basically describing the 5 aggregates.
One's cognitive versus vertical.
Right. So we can even relate the 5 aggregates to a question that describes, or that's trying to question rebirth versus reincarnation. What is the exact question? I'm trying to figure out.
Punabhava, rebirth in Buddhism, is way different than reincarnation in Hinduism.
Reincarnation, right? Okay.
Clarify this statement. Reincarnation is a transmigration of the soul of a person after death,
right?
Where rebirth is a transmigration of the karma of a person.
Karmic energy, yeah, sure. I think I'll go with that. I think that.
So is 12 words okay then?
No, I mean we've discussed few points, right? I mean we can now.
12 words.
Yeah.
Well, we can now elaborate on it based on whatever we remember on the exam day. So we can maybe go off on the 4 types of karma description down that path, and maybe relate that in. We can also go down the path of Atman, Paramatman, not Atman versus Paramatman, I guess. The absolute soul versus the instance of the soul, and go in that direction and expand things. We can also go into 5 aggregates and relate how 5 aggregates are related to rebirth from a body and mind perspective, and go on to explain things. I mean,
transmigration of karma.
In the class, you mentioned the word avatar.
Say again, please.
Avatar?
Avatar. AVT.
Write it down.
Huh?
Can you write it down in the chat? Avatar?
AVATA.
AVATA?
A-V-A-T-A-R, avatar.
Avatar.
Okay.
Avatar. Okay. Avatar.
In my notes here, I said restart, or it means it is the same person who comes back.
Oh yeah. So in Hinduism, you have that's the big thing. Like in reincarnation, it implies that it's the same soul that comes back.
Mm-hmm.
Rebirth is it's just the same karmic
Oh,
energy.
Avatar is to reappear.
Right. Avatar, the last Airbender, if anyone remember that comic series, same idea, same term, I think. Avatar.
Uh-huh.
So that's basically the same person reappearing as just as
This
Corey was
yeah.
explaining.
So this is what like Hinduism,
That I think is much closer to Hinduism. Yes.
right?
Mhm.
Same person reappearing. Well, in Buddhism also, it's
So
kind of
we're
the
the
same
real,
person,
but
but
we
it's
are
not
not the same person.
right. We are not the same person. We could have been an animal.
Animal.
Right.
Huh?
We could have been an animal. We could have been, I don't know, a wealthy person last life, much wealthier than now, I guess.
In some realm that we are suffering, we don't know.
Oh yeah, depending on what we
There's
did,
so
we could
many
have. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not the same person anymore. But I think the important point to emphasize is, I think Corey also touched upon it. The important point to emphasize is in Hinduism, there is a third entity involved, the cosmic entity involved in the transmigration. It's not just you or what you do, it's also some higher authority that decides, okay, you did so many bad things. Next life, you're going to be a dog. Here you go. Go reincarnate as a dog. While in Buddhism, it's a completely different process. It depends on what you did and what you remember about what you did, I suppose. Your recollection at the deathbed. I think that drives your next life. Last thought moment is the key thing, I think, in Buddhism.
This is
Even if
actually-
you
Here. I'm just posting a link. Sorry. Go ahead.
I have it on the notes. I mean, this not a very complete notes. Let me post it on chat.
By the way, I haven't written any of these assignment. I'm just thinking out loud right now. I'm sorry. I'm winging
Oh, that's
it.
good. I've only written a few. One I'm too embarrassed to
Winging it.
share yet because it's like total gibberish to everybody but me. But I'm just going through in preparation because for one, it's probably been 15 years since I've actually had to take a test. And it's been even longer since I've had to write an essay. So I am kind of.
You don't touch the work, Corey.
Me even longer. When I took a test, you haven't born yet.
How old do you think I am?
Are you
You're
older
okay.
than Venerable Kong Yan?
Yeah, I'm 41.
Oh, okay. So you're 10 years old.
So I don't know how old Venerable Kung Yen is because I was like, oh no, I turned 40 last year, and she's like, no, you don't look 40. I'm like,
She's
So
about that also.
I honestly thought Corey might be younger than me. So I'm the youngest one. Yes.
I act young. I'm in denial.
Right?
Nice. That's I'm gonna sleep well tonight. Yes, I'm the youngest in the class. I'm just joking.
Well, yeah. We're not going to
Anyway.
refute that. You're the young one.
Yeah, I am the youngest, it seems. All right. Anyway, getting back to the discussion. So, what else can we tie up?
Have you even turned 40 yet, Kushita?
Not yet. Not yet. Getting close. Not yet.
Okay.
And how long have you been 39?
3 months? For how many months?
Oh, we were close.
I am getting close. I'm very close.
You know, some people say they're 39 for how many years?
Oh, you know what? I'm not even close. I'm actually even younger. I was born in 81, so I have some time
Born
before
in
I 41.
81.
Yeah.
So Venerable Kong Yan is the youngest.
She doesn't count. She doesn't count. She's not a student. She doesn't count. Anyway, so what else can we tie up in the rebirth versus reincarnation discussion?
So
What
I
else can we
want
bring?
to share with you my short notes on that.
Why do I keep opening up Discord like it's our chat group, but it's not.
I can't remember. Is Jainism any different from Hinduism on that? I'm trying to remember.
Yes,
now.
Jainism
Yeah.
is lots
Talk about
closer to Buddhism than Hinduism.
Yeah, Jainism is,
There is a consciousness.
yeah.
Yes, Jainism is basically, I think the distinction between Jainism and Buddhism is Jainism is extreme non-violence. One non-violent, I can't pronounce that word.
Well, it's fatalistic. Jainism is fatalistic, so you don't have control over your karma.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Plus, it's
There
extreme
we go.
non-violence.
Notes here.
Well, if the extreme asceticism is how you rid yourself of karma, well, then I guess there is some control, right? But it's
Well,
very-
that's how you exhaust. Yeah, that's how you exhaust your bad karma. Is extreme asceticism, is extreme nonviolence. Basically, like become a hermit and exhaust all this bad karma that you have presented or
to almost be a monk. Then you have to be a monk in Jainism.
yeah, you
Well,
have to be.
Jains do have monks. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off. They do
Oh
have
no, you're
monks.
fine.
Yeah,
That's
so-
really you don't have to be a monk, but you have to practice extreme asceticism. So whether that means you go out into the woods and live in a hut, or become a monk and practice holistically Jainism, that is the only way that you can exhaust your karma. You're not in control of the karma that you have right now, but yeah, Jainism is a little confusing. But I think if I read on it more, it would kind of click a little bit.
The way I look at it, I think Jainism is a lot more closer to Buddhism than Hinduism.
Oh yeah,
Because I think
Yeah,
Mahavira, which is kind of considered their version of the Buddha,
hmm
is a lot more humanistic, human-centric than Hinduism, which is God-centric, cosmic power-centric, high authority-centric.
Well, Jainism's non-theistic, so
Right. Yeah.
That already puts it in the
That's
same
a
boat
great-
as Buddhism.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mahavira is the biggest teaching. Yeah, so yeah, non-violence, extreme non-violence. Yeah, you're right. I had to reread my notes here. But it achieves non-violence through extreme asceticism.
and veganism.
Do what?
And veganism.
Well, yeah, I kind of put those in the same boat.
Okay.
I
One
mean,
of
if you,
One of the primary principles in Buddhism is to find the middle path, not extreme in anything. So-
right.
But if we put everything on a spectrum, Buddhism and Jainism are on one side compared to Brahmanism and Hinduism. So that's the other relationship. Hinduism is basically the derivation of Brahmanism, which is the early form of religion.
Yeah, I was just curious, like, is there really a difference between Hinduism and Brahmanism?
Adaptation. I think now the authority has broken off. Brahmanism is a lot more authoritative, I guess. There's no questioning. Basically, you follow things blindly. Hinduism is a lot more, bit more open-ended now.
Well, Brahmanism is going to be more of like Shiva and why am I drawing a blank? I think Brahmanism is going to be Hinduism that worships Brahma, correct? And then Hinduism is going to be of the other two gods, Shiva and
Vishnu.
Vishnu. Yeah.
Vishnu. Yeah. Well, yes, Hinduism, for example, Bhante always talks about the AIDS Amman, remember, the god
Yeah.
for AIDS. So that is something that would purely exist in Hinduism, not in Brahmanism. That's
Right.
another way. So in Hinduism, you can create a god for anything. Whatever you want to create a god in, you can create. So for a purist, I think Hinduism is not Brahmanism. Brahmanism is a lot more conservative in that sense. It's restricted.
Single religion or single God, capital G.
Yes. Well, everything is derived from that single God, at least bare minimum. Polytheism versus monotheism discussion.
If we're talking about rebirth, shouldn't we include the last thought moment?
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah. That's part of the karma, the 4 stages or the 4.
Oh, you condition. You can condition your last thought moment in Buddhism.
You cannot.
Can you do that?
I mean, if you can do that, I think you are basically a Buddha. Think about it. If you can control your last thought moment, we don't need to worry about anything at all. You can do what?
I didn't say control. I think you can still. It seems to me, from my understanding, you can condition it.
You can condition it. I agree with you.
Without being a Buddha, but without going into parinirvana, you can have an effect during your life on conditioning your last thought moment.
I 100% agree with you.
Mindfulness and meditation. Can you do that in Jainism or in Hinduism?
If you can do it, it's probably
matter in Hinduism, does it?
Well,
I mean, right, you're right. So in Jainism, I think you probably can do something along those lines. Again, I haven't studied Jainism that deeply to say, but in Hinduism, you're right. There's no real control. There's really no concept of a last thought moment in the first place, because you spend your life and you go back to Brahma.
You know what your thought is. I got
even if you had a last thought moment, it's not going to help you control your next life, because you're going to go back to Brahma, and Brahma going to decide, you did good stuff, so maybe I'll give you a better life next time or whatnot. So your last thought moment in Hinduism, it's not going to matter much at all. That's not going to drive your next life.
Well, am I wrong? And correct me, because I'll need it. But in Hinduism and Brahmanism, or Hinduism and Jainism, everything is karma. In Buddhism, not everything is karma.
That might be a false statement. I don't know. I think in Buddhism, everything is karma, because what is karma? Karma is intention. So I think
everything is not karma in Buddhism. There are things that, like you don't make a hurricane happen with karma. Some things are due to
I see.
live in.
I see.
And if you accidentally run over someone with your car,
it's an accident, so no intent.
In Buddhism, there would not be any karma of murder,
because you didn't have any intention, right?
Well,
even though there is action.
Well, in Hinduism or Jainism, there would be, I believe. You still did the act of murdering someone, whether or not you intended to.
Or killing.
So that's a big difference between Buddhism and the others.
I'd make the distinction killing, because, under the law, an accidental killing is not murder.
Well, now, if you were drunk and somebody ran out in front of your car, then in the eyes of the
That's
law,
a little different.
that would be different. Like, there was no whether or not you had control over the vehicle. But yeah, I mean, so from what I remember in my notes, though, is Jainism and Hinduism, everything is karma.
Yes.
And in Buddhism,
it's karma for them.
Right. And in Buddhism, you essentially have control over your karma based off of intention.
Right.
Among other things, but simply put, it's based off of intention. You had control at some point.
Right. So I think that's a good statement.
During this life, too, one thought moment conditions the next thought moment.
It's dependent origination.
Yeah. So a whole chain of thought moments, and if you intend to change your thoughts and you work on that, you can, in this way, all the way to your last thought moment, right? And so improve your rebirth.
Yes, I think I
Assuming,
can agree.
assuming you're making progress. You know, what is it? What I'm trying to say. Yeah, I mean, I suppose it's possible that you could try to condition your thoughts and condition them the wrong way, but and
Right. So
not improve it,
so
but
yeah, I agree with you. You can condition your last thought moment, but here's a counter example. It's not necessarily a counter example, but if here's something to think about. Let's say throughout a lifetime you do only good, just good. Everything you do is for the benefit of others, and you're doing everything good. And let's say accidentally you ran over an animal, accidentally, not even intentional, accidentally you ran over an animal one day. That's the only thing in your mind that you might even consider to have been something not good. And
I
the
see.
issue is, right, so that lifetime of good will go away in an instant, in the last thought moment, for whatever the reason. If you start dwelling on that one incident where without intention you ended up doing something harmful, and
Yeah, I see.
so you will be reborn again
No,
because you couldn't
not
finish
intent.
your life cycle in this lifetime because you were dwelling on that very minute fact in your last thought moment. But you'll probably have a very good life because you've done a whole lot of good stuff, so you carry a lot of good karma, but you couldn't finish your life, you couldn't achieve nirvana. Does that make sense? I mean, it's kind of an extreme
Well,
example.
maybe you
uh,
couldn't go that far. I don't know. What were you going to say, Sherry?
You started to say something like the karma wouldn't matter. It's still going to be there.
No. I was going to say it's not the karma, but it does condition your last thought moment.
Yeah, it's your
it
last
could
thought
be.
moment.
It
That's
could
all
be
it is.
conditioning your last thought moment, like you said, but there's not really karma attached to it, right? Because
right, so
it wasn't
this
intended.
comes down,
I mean, you
right,
could swerve to miss the animal, kill it anyway,
right.
and run into a tree and die right then, or within minutes, and still be thinking, "Oh
Yeah,
my
he
God, I
said it
killed that
wasn't
animal," and
intentional.
I swerved, and
He
yeah,
said it wasn't.
Right.
but you're thinking of the animal, and would that mean that you're going to be reborn an animal?
No, I mean you
No.
born from this last moment of shame. It's going to be your last thought moment, and
Right.
it will color your next birth.
Yeah,
But
well,
it doesn't erase all the karma that you already
it's
had.
Right.
conditioning it, but it's not karma, and if it affects your last thought moment, yeah, it's going to be
Right.
So maybe this will just help me understand, and hopefully this won't take too long to clarify for myself. In Buddhism, you basically have two buckets. You have good karma and bad karma, or let's call it three. You have neutral karma as well. But in Hinduism and Jainism, do you only have one bucket that, like, you have good karma, and then as soon as there's bad karma, that whole bucket is tainted?
No, I think we might be able to say in Hinduism we still have two buckets, but the problem is who is measuring those buckets. That's the issue. In Buddhism, you yourself kind of measure those two buckets. That's what I was trying to point out with my extreme example, where you do a lifetime of good work and maybe one bad thing, intentionally or in unintentionally. I'm sorry, my daughter is over here. She
That's
wants
fine.
to read. So,
Um,
in Hinduism, on the other hand, you got two buckets, and your higher authority, I guess, Brahma decides. Oh, your good karma weighs more than your bad karma, so you're gonna have a better life. I don't know.
Better life, but you still have a life. You're not reaching
Right,
nirvana yet.
you're not done yet, but
Yeah, because there's still two buckets. If you only had this one good bucket,
then
you'd
you're
be
done.
in.
Right,
You'd be
you're
in.
done.
But
Right,
since you
exactly.
have, even though it's a small little tiny bucket, you got to go back.
You got to go back. Right. If you only had good buckets, then you can reunite with the Brahma, and you're done.
That clicks. Does everybody agree with that statement?
I don't know if Sherry even heard that. But yeah, I think with Toshida's comment, you have. I think if you had time between that incident and your death, I think some of that good karma, if like you say, you have a lot of good karma built up already, that would help to move that that incident back the other way. If you had some time to forgive yourself and to recondition, you do your meditation like you have been doing, and your good deeds, and recondition yourself. You that may have no influence at all if you've had all that, say, karmic momentum, let's say, to overcome that moment. But I think if your death happens in a fairly immediate aftermath of such a thing, you may be still dwelling on it. You may still be a person who is maybe attached to something like that,
Right.
which you are concerned about other life.
Right.
See, are you talking about Hinduism right now, though?
No, I'm talking about Buddhism.
Last thought moment.
No,
Okay.
Yeah, under
Last thought, okay, because I could be wrong, but I don't know if last thought moment really applies to Hinduism, because the karmic energy is there,
Right.
and
Right.
everything is karma in Hinduism. You're not going to exhaust it in this lifetime. Your goal in Hinduism is to not generate the bad karma. It's the so if you do generate bad karma, and maybe that's where I'm confused. Like, if I was Hindu and like I'm 30 years old and I've done nothing but good, and then all of a sudden I run over a deer at 31, do I just say like, oh, screw it, I'm already done, might as well just be a bad guy?
No, I wouldn't go that extreme.
I mean, I'm just trying to.
If you so maybe forget running over unintentionally. So here's the thing: none of us know how Brahma will interpret that, right? So if you accidentally ran over an animal, Brahma might look at it and say, you know what, you didn't mean to kill that. Maybe you're fine, so you can move on. Or he might decide either way, or Brahma would decide, no, you did kill the animal, whether you intended or not. You did kill the animal. So that's the question for Brahma. I have absolutely no idea what Brahma would say to that. But in Buddhism, for that same incident, but in Buddhism, for the same incident, there's at least a definition, right? Because if you didn't intend to kill the animal, then the gravity, I suppose, the seriousness of the karma is a lot less.
Yeah.
So
Buddhism, I think
there's really no karma if there's no intention. But my question was really out of my own curiosity. I wasn't trying to get off the beaten path, because I was just like, so like, is that really how Hinduism worked though? Like, as soon as you generate bad karma, is there a point to continue to try to do as good as possible?
Oh, I think I know where you're
I
going.
see. Well, here's the thing. I mean, so you might have another life, but it might be a better life. This life you might have been,
That's fair.
a poor person. Next life you will be a middle class person, and if you continue to do only good, maybe a first class person.
No, that makes sense. Like, like I generated bad karma, I'm going to go on a rampage now. Oh, look, I'm back as a worm.
Right, exactly. So I think that's the way to look at it from that perspective. I mean, I think its concept is very similar in Buddhism as well. If you do, even if you do, it's a balancing act, right? I mean, if you do a lot more good than bad, you might still be born as a human. I mean, in Buddhism, I think it's said to be born as a human, you have to accumulate, I don't know, many eons of life's worth of goodness. So that's why I think in Buddhism, human life is measured, I guess, a lot more than any other life. But the point is, you continue to make improvements. I guess the fundamental point is, in Buddhism, our objective is to stop the cycle of rebirth. We are not trying to improve our life condition for the next life. We are not trying to reach Tautisa or any of the heavens, right? We are trying to basically say, I'm going to try my best in this lifetime to finish it, get done with it, and not have a rebirth. That's quite different from the philosophy in Hinduism. Whereas in Hinduism, the idea is ultimately, even if you only do good, ultimately the goal is to reunite with the Brahma, become his, become, I mean, become part of Brahma, not necessarily your own liberation. So, so I guess the question would be for a Hindu friend is, okay, let's say I somehow managed to reunite with Brahma. What if Brahma decides, you know what, you better go back? Do I have any control at that point? No. So
Yeah.
I'll again get reborn because Brahma decided, right? So in Buddhism, that's a completely different story. If you defile all your, I mean, if you kill all your defilements, there's no continuation. You're done. You're not going to be reborn. I mean, Gautama, Siddhartha, or Gautama Buddha will never be reborn. That's the whole point. He was done. He moved on. He will never be reborn.
So we can keep on this subject if we want, or we can move on to number 4, which is the last thought moment. Chita and
Chutitita, yes.
and Janaka Kama,
Reproductive karma. Yes.
I feel like this is probably a good like interlude in between the two.
Sure. Yeah.
Unless anybody else has got something they want to ask or contribute.
Fine with me.
Okay. I am by no means trying to hijack the study group or like control it into anything. I am just trying to, make progress through the list of things before it's bedtime.
Yeah, we know you're not controlling. We know you don't mute us. We know you can't kick us off.
Wait, keep talking, Fran. I'm gonna mute you.
What?
Nice. It's still going on. All right. So
Yeah, gone
I
yet?
don't have a lot of notes written on that. It said most religions believes in a kind of afterlife existence of the individuals in the standard polycanic.
What is that on Punabhava on Chutachita?
I think it's just a kind of.
So I think we kind of touched upon Chutitita and Punabhava, well, Chutitita and reproductive karma, right? When we were discussing Punabhava. So the connection is your last thought moment dictates your reproductive karma, more
Death.
or less.
The word I like the most is death consciousness.
Yes, death consciousness, right? I don't know if you guys, any of you had near-death experiences. I had 2 accidents at least where I thought I was going to die. So that's why I think I have no control over the last thought moment, because when I reflect back on that incident, I absolutely don't remember anything, to be honest, but I'm pretty sure I was thinking about something when I was about to be hit. So what comes to mind, let's say that would be an instant death at least. So I might not necessarily get any time to think a last thought moment or have a last thought moment. But what if I'm bedridden and I'm suffering and I can't move, but I'm conscious? I mean, there are people like that, right? So what might those people be thinking? And they might be enumerating a whole lifetime of things they've done, good things, bad things. So that's where I think that even the concept of last thought moment scares me.
Yeah,
It's a very scary prospect.
not to be like, super dark and negative, but like when my dad died, he knew it was coming. He had congestive heart failure and COPD. And part of me is like thankful to an extent that like when he was on his way out, he was so loaded up on morphine that he really had no idea where he was. But he's also talked to me about all the regrets in his life. And, now knowing what I know about, last thought moments and things like that, I'm like, were these things going through his head when he knew the time was coming? Because he knew it was coming. He by all means knew that he was coming. And, the doctors just put him in a state of total comfort until the end came. My mom passed. She coughed herself unconscious and had a herniated brain aneurysm and separated her spinal cord from her brain and was just unconscious until her lungs stopped working. But my dad was completely coherent, and it's just like, I already know he had a lot of regrets in life. He's made those very vocal. Were those replaying in his head? And even if you think you found forgiveness in yourself or people have found forgiveness with you, are you able to hit the pause button on that replay?
Mm.
Right. Yeah.
It was running in his head, but also he might have just been, when he talked to you about that in his final days, he may have been finally laying him down. It may be.
Yeah. Then again, we don't know, right? That's the whole
you
scary
don't.
part about it. We have absolutely no idea what he was thinking about. Maybe he was, as you just said, maybe he was finally saying, yes, I'm letting go of these things. Or maybe he was coming back to them. It could go very south, very fast, depending on what path you take.
Yeah, I mean, he told me he was comfortable with dying, and I take that, and for what it's worth. So I don't dwell on this, but there's times where I think about, like, there are times where people don't know that the end is there, and you don't know what their last thought is. And Chuti Cheetah, Chuti being vanish, and Cheetah is a specific thought or specific mind.
This is why mind training is so important.
Do what?
This is why mind training is so important.
Yes,
It is.
being mindful, right? Exactly. That's the whole point. I mean,
Then
you can be.
That's why he said that we
Let's
should
develop the
train
habit.
people to do the merit, the merit making.
Yeah.
Right.
And 10 merits that we should train. He said, let the man train himself in merit making and use the long-lasting happiness. So your thought will be always, those good merits.
Positive, right?
And
Yeah.
positive.
Like meta meditation, it's a good supportive karma towards those. It's actually, I think I have it in my notes. Well, supportive karma that feeds reproductive karma. Good thoughts feeds to good karma to come back with. So I didn't put meta in here, meta meditation, but meta meditation to me kind of rings true with, like, you practice meta on your last thought moments or your final thoughts, or then or your death consciousness, and that's all you're thinking is in meta. That's good supportive karma.
Right.
Well, the habits develop. Giving. What can I do to help? How can I be more generous? If these are the rut that your mind, let's call it a rut. If that's the habit, the pathway that your mind is in, if it's solid, if it's like you've built up those neurons and stuff, and they've got them myelinated like crazy, and this is your mind. This is how it operates. Even when you're in a stressful situation, such as maybe a very quick end, that will still hold. There's science behind. They study people's habits, and even you have you've had a bad habit for a long period of your life. You've been working on it for months, even years, to set it aside, to redraw that circuit in your mind to something more positive. But then you get in a stressful situation, that old habit comes back. But if the stronger you make the beneficial habits, the generosity, the kindness, the compassion, yeah, even in your last thought moment, it may still be there with you, even though that may be so stressful. That maybe if it's hard for us to see that, maybe it's because we're not there yet.
Yeah.
Even if you're there, I mean, you wouldn't get an opportunity to explain it to someone else either, right? I mean, it's called the last thought moment anyway. So there's no, it's a never-ending solution. I mean, no one's gonna ever be able to say, "Oh, that was my last thought moment," because it's
So
the last thought moment,
Right. You're not going to be able to analyze it.
right?
No.
Probably not.
It's a very delicate issue. I mean, I guess only a Buddha would be able to even recognize that there is such a thing called a last thought moment in the first place. Because I don't think a layperson or a non-Buddha, someone who has not achieved that status, that higher status of mindfulness, would be able to recognize or foresee such a possibility.
Now, the further along you are on the path, don't you? Isn't the report that
Okay.
you remember more of your previous lives, so you have to be fairly well along the path to even
Right.
have that connection to
Right.
well, not to interrupt, but I know most of us that were here last week, we all went over that we basically all have the same notes for the 4 types of karma.
Okay.
And the first type of karma of reproductive karma, and the last thought moment, I'm pretty sure we all have the same notes. If not, feel free to ask and I will type them out and I will upload them. But they cover very well about the last thought moment, the thought before death, and we go over Chutta, its breakdown and its meaning of vanish of specific thought. We go over the supportive karma that feeds reproductive karma. Good thought feeds good karma to come back with. Bad thoughts feed negative karma to come back with. Then we go over obstructive karma, which is the opposite of reproductive. It temporarily blocks the effect of reproductive karma and can work both for good or bad. Reproductive karma, it's much less powerful, or I'm sorry, obstructive karma is much less powerful than reproductive karma. And then we go over destructive karma, which completely destroys reproductive karma.
My times are probably when I started recording, so it may not be exactly. Sorry, talking to Sherry.
Oh, you're fine. So, I mean, if anybody does not have these notes, I will type them up. These are handwritten from when we were in.
4 types of rebirth, right?
Now this was karma. When we were in pre-Buddhistic, this is from pre-Buddhistic studies under critical terminology. We went over karma.
He's talking about the notes from last semester.
last
Class,
semester.
please.
Yeah, but I know we covered it this semester, but and I'm going to say that we probably have better notes from last semester when he really covered the 4 types of karma, because in this semester we only studied the first 2 types and they were quite brief.
A lot of things he discussed in last semester, I feel like applies to this semester's content. I mean, the course title last semester was Pre-Buddhist History or whatever. We barely, comparatively, I mean, percentage-wise, I think we spend much less time on pre-Buddhistic viewpoints than Buddhistic viewpoints.
I keep in mind how many times last semester he's like, "We'll talk about it next semester."
Right.
So, but I feel like we talked more about it last semester than we
Last
did.
semester. Yes, I think I agree with you on that. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Let me see.
Let's see. Let's see if that things.
Research a different piece.
Well,
You want to ask if
exactly the
anybody
same.
else has this?
We're looking at our notes on Chuti Chitta.
Uh-huh.
And there's a place where Bhante talks about 3 layers of mind.
Okay.
And then he says, I wrote down surface of Bhavanga consciousness triggers next birth and wrote a question mark next to it and said, listen again. And David has certain karma pops up to the Bhavanga, which can trigger next rebirth.
Oh
And
dear.
then question mark, you wrote surface level also. So maybe we were having trouble hearing him because you see you wrote surface level too.
Yeah, but I got a
Yeah.
question mark because I'm not sure whether that was what he said, I guess.
Yeah. Did anybody else write anything like that down?
No, I don't. My
No.
note.
Sunday, May 10th, and it was,
Well, he was talking about the question on Chuti Chitta.
yeah, that was Chuchi-Chita.
It was before he talked
That would
about,
have been the last part of the day,
no,
right?
all that you need to know is the question, because we're talking about the questions here.
Helps me find it in the notes.
But you have it right there.
I'm just saying, if they're looking in their notes, if they have it.
Well, we've been talking about the questions for almost an hour.
Is that the 4 layers of consciousness? I mean, that's when you talk about the 3 layers of the mind.
Yeah, I couldn't hear exactly what he was saying because I guess his connection was scratchy, but he said something about layers of mind, and then he said surface of Bhavanga consciousness triggers next birth. And then I guess you wrote something similar down.
Sensory
that's what he said.
threshold or threshold consciousness, manas.
Yeah.
Certain karma pops up to the Bhavanga, which can trigger next rebirth or surface level of
That's
Bhavanga
basically what I
consciousness.
wrote. Which would mean that Chuti Chitta is on the surface of consciousness.
Yeah.
It comes after he talks about the individuality of guide when the Chuti Chitta occurs. He talks about the man and the dog dying. It's right after he talks about
Yeah,
the
and he
man
also
and the
said
dog
by the
dying.
time of Chuti Chitta, the man and the dog have both lost their personas. No man anymore, no dog anymore.
So I guess Chuti Chitta is the surface of the Bhavanga. Let's listen again and see if that's right.
It's not ringing any bells.
So what was the other layers that you had? Manas?
I didn't hear everything he said. He said manasikara, which I think he means manaskara. That can't be right because manasikara means attention. It refers to a type of attention. So maybe he
Manasikara.
said manas.
Manas. I had
And
manas.
you wrote manas.
I had manas.
I wrote that down too, but he said this. I think he just misspoke. I wrote that down.
Could be.
He had bhavanga, the sensory, which he called sensory consciousness, subconsciousness or threshold consciousness, and then subliminal consciousness. Is that what you got?
I didn't have anything about
Sensory, subliminal is right there.
Oh yeah. All I have is subliminal with nothing after it because
And
I guess I missed.
See,
it.
you crossed out Manisakara too, and then put Manas.
Yeah,
because he
I
corrected
crossed it
himself.
out. I crossed it out because I think either I went back in the recording or he said it.
I didn't hear him
again.
say it, but I knew that
That
part was
way.
wrong. Okay. Manas.
Yeah, that's crossed off. I think that's why. It's Manas, not Manaskara.
MANAS?
I believe so, yeah.
Manasikara is, I think, mental concomitance or something, right? I don't think
I
it's.
think he just misspoke that word and must have come back and corrected Manas later because David wrote it down too.
And crossed.
Yeah. So
So Manas is mind, isn't it?
Manasa is mind, yes.
yeah.
Manasikara, I think, is mental concomitant. It's not strictly mind. It's
This I think he just
A specific form of the mind.
mm.
You have manas for sensory threshold,
Um,
and I have it on.
It could be a synonym. Very
So
well could be a synonym for many
Sukriti
things.
is equal to mana.
Yeah.
is it sensory threshold manas? I also
Well,
have down.
wrote it down as
I also
Bhavanga.
have down threshold consciousness
Look
is
it up.
manas.
So
Yeah, all of them.
looking up manas, it is the idea of mind.
Idea of mind.
Yeah. Comes to be associated with volition and mental functions that create karma.
Manas. Idea of mind.
Yeah. So Chitta,
Which is connected. How is it connected with karma?
Well, he was using it for a specific layer of the mind.
yeah. So the 3 layers of mind, I'm not finding the third word, and
I can't find the third word.
So it's
Vijnana,
beyond persona.
Vijnana, Vijnana, which is in relation to the 5 skandhas. It's the function of the mind that connects the sensory stimulus.
Vijnana.
Yeah.
What?
Vijnana.
Vijnana.
Yeah. There you go. It's in the chat. Vijnana.
Vijnana. I remember Vijnana.
So those are your sensory stimulus. So Vijnana is the 5th of the 5 skandhas in context.
Yeah, he was not talking about the skandhas. He was talking about the layers of mind.
Yeah. But Vijnana is the sensory stimulus, like, sound, sight, taste, touch, all those.
Yeah, it has multiple meanings in different
Right.
contexts.
As is tradition. So I think Vijnana is in Yogacara as well, pretty heavily.
Yeah, it can mean the divided mind also, the discriminating, dualistic mind in some teachings.
So does that mean Bhavanga is a service level of consciousness?
Bhavanga, also called Bhavanga Sota and Bhavanga Chitta, is a passive mode of intentional consciousness described in the Abhidharma of Theravada Buddhism. Oh, it is also a mental process which conditions the next mental process at the moment of death and rebirth. So that's why he was calling it Bhavanga Chitta.
So Bhavanga Chitta
It's the conditioning consciousness at the moment of.
Would you mind repeating that statement? That was a profound statement. I felt like that was a good statement.
Also called Bhavanga Chitta, is a passive mode of intentional consciousness described in the Abhidhamma of Theravada Buddhism. It is also a mental process which conditions the next mental process at the moment of death and rebirth.
I see.
Now that explains. I couldn't figure out why he was calling it Bhavanga consciousness, because before he was talking about
a
Bhavanga's
mental process which conditions.
birth and death. So that's why he brought it up in the discussion of Chitti Chitta. He was using
the next
that definition of
thought
it.
in birth or death.
Conditions the next mental process
Next
at the
mental
moment of
process.
death and rebirth. So when you're dying, it's the Bhavanga consciousness with the Chitti Chitta that conditions what happens in rebirth, what rebirth you have. So that's how those two are related. Okay.
So you got it now.
Yeah, I think I get what he's talking about.
Okay.
Don't look at that because it's talking about Yogacara. Ground of becoming.
Is that another synonym?
Well, they're
The
talking
ground is
about the
becoming-
meaning of Bhavanga. It means becoming, function of being. This actually defines it as subliminal consciousness, which was the other one.
Yep. The other one I had, subliminal consciousness.
So it could be used for each of them.
Maybe those are all supposed to be synonyms. Threshold consciousness, subliminal
Maybe
consciousness.
I'm going to have to listen to that part of the talk again.
Function of mind. What function?
Oh, good. This shows where it is in the Abhidhamma, so we can look it up.
Want to share that?
Wisdomlibrary.org. Sometimes it has some lists of words and where they're found in the texts. So it mentions where Bhavanga is mentioned in the Abhidharmas. Yeah, we can go on to something else. You don't have to wait while I'm looking.
Anybody? How about Lee? Is he still on mute? Is he still here?
Yeah, he's still here. Dave, I sent you a link to a computer at EPC before I forgot because I was totally going to. I had it sitting up. Pay little attention to the price on that because if you are interested, I can call up there and get a discount. So.
Okay, thanks, Corey. We're recording. We got the chat on. We can record that.
Yes, I can
Yeah.
save it. I save it every time.
Yes, Captain. She doesn't have her captain's hat on today, but she's the captain.
My crew don't listen though.
Always.
Throw him off the plank.
Selective hearing. Selective. Just like Paul Simon says. You know, Paul Simon. Still man hears what he wants to hear, and he disregards the rest. What? Oh. Na 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 na.
Not trying to be a party pooper here, but we only have one mock exam this weekend, right? And I believe that's on the ethics.
No, we have 4. Don't you know that?
We have 2.
This weekend? Are you sure?
Yeah. We have.
This weekend.
One.
Oh, only one? Oh, wait, yeah. No, wait. Are we doing, which one are we doing?
Ethics
think-
is this weekend.
This weekend.
I think ethic is, yeah, that's what I
Ethics
thought.
is
This,
the
Sunday.
fundamental teachings is the 20. Was it 20?
On Sunday.
21st sounds.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so we only have, okay, yeah, you're right.
And
So in
then,
the, go ahead.
so this week is ethic, it's Sayadaw class.
Right.
So we do mock exam. And then Pandey Upananda class, the next one, before the final exam. So we have that mock exam on
Man.
fundamental.
Wait, so, oh, wow. Yeah, we do. Man. Okay,
Oh, another week to study.
right?
So we this weekend we're gonna do ethics, and
And we're not studying ethics right now.
we don't
Well, we don't have any guidelines either.
we don't know what to study
Right.
on ethics, you know, and then especially the last class, I was trying to type out the notes, so in case he
Oh,
has
we went over
questions
some
coming
stuff
out on
before.
that, because it's an open book, like Francesca said. We're staying home here having exam, and then we're trying to look
Right.
at our computer. Oh, can you give me the answer?
I'm gonna have to mute my microphone because mechanical keyboards and open book tests don't go well together.
Yes. Everybody have to be mute.
All right.
And
So
to Frank. Frank, did you find the cancer?
I'm gonna disable private messages on Zoom. Well, I feel better now that I looked at the calendar. I don't know why this month is just like all blending together. Too many days at home, I guess. But
That might be it.
so we have class this weekend. We have class on the 20th and 21st, and then immediately following on the 27th and 28th is.
Then.
Don't say it that way. Don't say it immediately.
And
But is it?
Another weekend.
Sunday probably will come here early.
Isn't the 21st VSOC day? Oh no, 14th. Never mind.
14.
It's cool. I got it in my calendar. I know which day it is. I'll be here. Don't worry.
You know, Corey, you have to control a lot of things there.
I do. All of a sudden, I became the admin of 2 Facebook groups. I don't know what happened.
Well, don't worry about Maba. You just need to do the Buddhist Council.
Yeah. Well,
I will.
yeah.
I will put a link to the Buddhist Council, so if people who come in there will go.
Yeah, that's fine.
Besides that, everybody must be on there, okay?
Yes, I expect to see 300 people on Zoom on VSOC day.
We're gonna upgrade it to 1,000 people.
We're gonna have huge gatherings.
So we have ethics this weekend, and I tell you the truth, I just didn't study that also because I don't know. what to study.
Honestly, I feel like if you just go over the essays that we had to, or the homework assignments, I feel like if we just go through those tomorrow and maybe Saturday before we take the exam, we'll probably be good. I'm assuming Lee, I'm unmuting you.
Come on, Lee.
Lee, did you turn in your homework, sir?
Thanks for your help, Lee.
Lee's not answering. He's not talking to us.
Are you there?
Yeah, did you turn
Can
in
you
your
hear
home? Yeah, we can hear you.
I did. Yes, I turned it in, but I never got a response saying I turned it in.
That's because he doesn't like you. It's okay.
A bunch of them.
He got your note.
Very good company.
He told you that you sent to the wrong email, right?
So,
Say it again. I missed it.
Honorable Kongyan said you sent to the wrong email, so that's why you.
I did.
you
I
butchered
think he got
Gmail.
it. He got it, and he sent it back to Honorable Kongyan.
Oh, good.
He doesn't reply to us. He gave everything to Honorable Kongyan.
All right. So,
Very good. So you think that we just need to read over our essays?
I'm hoping we really have no guidance from as far as what's going to be on the mock exam, much less the actual exam. So,
Well, if you go over the syllabus, there are 8 things listed.
yeah.
So I kind of suspect he might take a question from each of those.
Yeah.
And most of those were not on the homework he gave us.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
In the one that is not on the.
Because the
Yeah.
homework seemed so early. It was
Yeah, there's
just a few. Last
On the contents, he has a 16.
Yeah, I agree on the homework comment. I mean,
Were we
we
in
assigned
clear?
them like really early, very early. So that will be too soon to figure out what's going to be in the final exam.
That's fair. Yeah.
mental culture and development is not on there. The insight meditation is not on there. The Nibbana is not on there.
Right.
Well, he's got ethics, free will, moral responsibility.
Yeah.
Discourses
There'll
leading
be a
to.
question about those, at least one. So-
Yeah.
But that's just like 1/8 of the topics. on
Oh
it.
yeah, for sure. Sila, Samadhi, Pana, Nibbana, Supreme Bliss. Okay, yeah. Does everybody have the? Here, I'll just go ahead and dump it over here.
Yeah, they're all in the notes he gave us too. So if you look
Yeah,
at-
if anybody doesn't have it readily, it is in the chat. Lee, I'm muting you again. It sounds like you're driving with a convertible top down.
Mm,
This is not raining.
Yeah. All right. So, is there anything anybody else wants to cover before we wrap this up tonight? Crickets.
When was this sent?
Cover the crickets. They're getting cold.
Yeah. What'd you say, Venerable Kungshi?
Oh, I said, when is the syllabus and assignment was sent out? On February 2020.
Yeah, February 9th.
I didn't get that.
So,
Okay.
I know like psychophysical disorders, worry, and fear are in that handout that he gave us.
Mhm.
I
Yes.
think they're all in the handout that he gave us.
Yeah,
Or not so much Nibbana, but part of Nibbana is in there.
yeah. We
They're
could
all-
probably just go through there and like highlight the sections of the handout that he gave us. Much like the assignments, I think if we do that, then we'll probably be in good shape.
Mhm.
In any case, we have one more shot. We'll have one more shot at it.
There's no grade on the mock exams, right?
No.
This is how did you do?
How bad are you, I guess?
Yeah, exactly.
Give a sense of fun.
How much more do you need to study now?
Right. How behind are you? I'm going to be behind. I think I'm going to be honest. I didn't take any notes this semester whatsoever. The online format didn't work out well for me. It's not the instructors, it's just me.
Yeah,
I'm the same.
well, I was trying to take notes and then suddenly I was on a computer.
Right.
Do I type on computer or do I write notes?
When we
Sometimes
have,
not taking notes, you can really focus better. And,
Mhm.
right.
but, yeah.
That's true.
happens
It's
to-
actually, there's actually science behind it. I mean, when you write stuff while you're listening, there's
You're-
actually a psychological science behind it.
And online teaching, the teacher just keep talking without interacting with, like there's no stop. So it's
Right.
like, you have to keep writing. Not like in a class here, like sometimes he will pause and he will, look at you
Right.
guys and ask or